Hi, welcome to the Law Simplified. I'm Shraveen Bandad-Nayaka. A problem faced by many students is often never the lack of information. Rather, it's the fact that they are overloaded with it. Now, the nature of any law degree, be it an LLB, a GDL, an LLM even, is that although you might have a particular cohort around you, a particular group of students or batchmates that you have with you to study the course or the program, guidance provided by an institute or a university, the very nature of the law degree itself requires you to pay more attention and emphasize on your thinking and articulation abilities as opposed to the actual information that is provided to you. So more often than not, students tend to find it very difficult to not just articulate, but to develop or hone those techniques of analytical thinking. Now, as a result of this, many students feel not just overwhelmed, but being or feeling overloaded with the information that they have before them. And as such, I've heard of and I've noticed many students try to not just nitpick, but try and find information and resources from everywhere. The unfortunate byproduct of this is that not only will you get too much information, but sometimes this information and this knowledge that you're trying to accrue tends to be misleading as well. So I thought that as this is the very first technique and video of the year, that it should be something that will provide you with a tool set and a technique to make better sense and to organize yourself in terms of the vast content and material that you've now gotten access to in terms of your law degree. Now, what I want to suggest to you, something to include into your technique, is what I like to call reflection. So what do I mean by this? On a daily, weekly, monthly, and on a semester basis, try and allocate a number of minutes or hours every single day, week, month, and semester to reflect on the content that you've studied. Now, by no means do I mean creating a summary of whatever you've studied and then just rote learning it. There are plenty of other videos on this very channel and other channels out there as well that will tell you about how to study, how to maximize your time, how to organize yourself, and so on. This is not about that. Ad nauseum, I have mentioned on many occasions that the LLB is not about what you know, but how you think. And the fact that how you think is not something that can be taught straightforward, it's something that has to be inculcated with practice and with time. So this technique that I'm suggesting to you, the technique of reflection, will help you do that. Part of the beauty about showcasing yourself to an examiner in a different light, essentially separating and distinguishing yourself from all other students, is by showing your personality and conviction. And this is done by virtue of showing how you think. Reflection plays a key role in not just that, but also making better sense and feeling less overwhelmed with the content that you have now amassed. So how do we do this? Every day, once you finish your studying for that particular day, it might be an hour, it might be two, it might even be less, allocate some time to reflect on that which you have studied, to understand what you have studied, to think back and logically put in place somewhat like a jigsaw on what all of that means. This, by and large, is not about studying once again. Remember, reflection is about understanding what you've digested, giving time for your mind to determine how best to store it and to use it later on. Now, this same aspect is true when you finish a week of studying or a month of studying or even the whole semester just before your examination. The only difference is based on the number of subjects, the number of topics, the number of hours that you allocate for your reflection will differ. But the overall premise and the idea remains the same. At the end of every study session, be it daily, weekly, monthly, or by semester, you allocate a certain amount of minutes and hours to understand and look back at what you had studied and to make better sense from a bird's eye perspective. Right. So I wanted to put this out as one of the very first techniques and videos of 2020 because you might be going into assignment submissions and examinations in the upcoming months and the semesters ahead. So it pays dividend to incorporate something like this at the very get-go when you are starting your studies and when you're moving forward with your academics. If you'd like to set up a fast track or a masterclass series at the beginning of the year, considering the fact that you are at the early stages of your academics, do reach out through the links in the description below, and I'd be happy to help out. But until the next time that we meet, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.